listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 866 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's December 8th, 2025. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of the Survivor's Blend 8s series from foodforestfarms.com. Because life's too short for shady coffee, at Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, we've got a packed show easing into the framing out at the cabin with a kind of a slow start, getting the bearings going. I'll talk a little bit about that. Battling this rainy, cold, gloomy weather we've been having for a couple weeks now. Hauling firewood the hard way with the muddy road and not being able to get into access with the truck. And we've watched a few more Netflix series, docu-series. Pepsi, Where's My Jet, and Kings of Tupelo were a couple that come to mind. I'll talk about those and maybe a little bit more. So grab your coffee, smash that like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing? Good morning, Mike's Homestead. Thanks for stopping in. Might as well get to it with that Bitcoin price guessing game. We'll talk about that here first thing, but I want to talk about this 8s blend, the Survivor Blend 8s. So we made aces and 8s, two different blends for the Survivor's blend. I'm talking about Brian over at Food Forest Farms. And if you're over in the Telegram group where you are a fan of Food Forest Farms, you know that back in the beginning of September, Brian had a little accident, had a little plane crash, and ended up pretty rough shape in the hospital and all busted up and everything. And he's been making his recovery. And one of the things to kind of spur his recovery, he decided to make up a blend, a Survivor's Blend coffee. And it was going to be available until he walked. And he was thinking that was going to be January, maybe February. And man, he blew it out of the park, and he is up and hobbling around, not completely walking all the time, but definitely hobbling around. Posted some videos over in the Telegram chat. So 8s and aces and 8s Survivor Blend from Food Forest Farm is officially done, discontinued. The man got up and took some steps, so it's all done. He's going to be true to his word. And if you have some in the cupboard, it might be a collector's item, might want to keep it. I have this bag. The stuff is absolutely fantastic, and so I'm going to drink it. I think I have one more bag of 8s up in the cupboard, and I'm going to probably drink that too, because it's just fantastic. So I mean, I know a guy over at Food Forest Farms, and he might be able to blend me up something very, very close. I mean, I don't want to make him go back on his promise of discontinuing it once he's walking. So, but we'll maybe make something super close. So, anyway, good morning, Pip. Thanks for popping in. Happy Monday, humans, and cheers to you. Wiggle, wiggle. Yeah, that's the video of Mr. Norton running around in his house was kind of humorous. I don't mean to laugh at the crippled, but he was definitely wiggling around there. So get your coffee at foodforestfarms.com. You can get 10% off with code LOTS10, LOTS10. The coffee's fantastic. If you are drinking Folgers and you buy a bag of Food Forest Farms, you definitely will be able to tell the difference. Excuse me. And the price is very reasonable if you actually look at the prices compared to other premium coffees out there. And Brian's always sending out 1 pound. And if you're aware of shrinkflation and realize that most of the coffee companies have gone to less than a pound bag, so be sure you're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges when you're out shopping for coffee and looking at prices. So Food Forest Farms make an awesome gift for the coffee drinker in your life for Christmas, and yeah, head on over to foodforestfarms.com. All right, Bitcoin price game over in the Telegram group. I post a message probably later today Every Monday, I pin it up to the top, and we guess what the price of Bitcoin is going to be next week during the show. And now it's next week. It's this week during the show. Trusty little ticker tracker there. Bitcoin price as of right now, 91,894 here on December 8th, 2025 at 6:06 a.m. Let's look at the guesses from last week. My guess was way off. We got it right here. 97,979 is what I picked. Not too bad. It's a little bit getting a little closer than it has been over the weeks, but still is definitely not the closest by far. The guess is over in the Telegram group. We got Blueberry, Texas checking in at $88,058. That's a little low. Rewilder Life over there said 101,000. I wish she was right and not me, but 101,000 even is not close. John Palmer 98,765. I see what you did there, John, and not close. Sorry. No cigar. Scrambling. Brian Norton from Food Forest Farms. Food Forest Farms. He came in. He had won 2 weeks in a row, so he was the defending champion coming into this week. He picked 90,500, and not far off. Normally, most of the weeks that would have been a winning guess. They've been only about 1,800 off, but not this week. Scrambling goes down. We've crowned a new king. Waiting for a jump there up in the Great White North where it's -2 degrees Fahrenheit and car won't start and waiting for work. So listening in, hopefully got Canadian Farmstead coming in with a guess of 91,000 even. 91,000 even. That was only $894 off. Not bad. The guy says he's no good at guessing Bitcoin prices, but there he is. The winner this week, Canadian Farmstead, with a guess of 91,000, within $1,000 of the actual price. If you want to know what he won nothing. He won absolutely nothing, but we have fun guessing, and we'll do it again next week. I'm going to leave my guess the same. I'm not even going to change it. I'm going to leave it right up on the board. Same guess, 97,979. At some point, I'll probably get close, hopefully, unless it shoots right past, and I got no problem with that. So congratulations to Canadian Farmstead on your win, and hope it makes your day a little bit better. It's been starting kind of rough from what I can tell over in the group. So anyway, that was the Bitcoin guessing game. If you want to participate, you can head on over to t.me/LotsChat. That's t.me/LotsChat and throw a guess in. It'll be the pinned message. I'll get it up after the show this morning, and we'll guess again for next week. Hopefully we get a little pop in the Bitcoin price and it heads up. Before we move on, I wanted to just send out another reminder. I know a couple people have participated in it, taken advantage of it, but the Blockstream 21% sale for the month of December through the end of this month, Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus. I think it's site-wide, but only Jade. I only know actually that the Jade and Jade Plus are on sale. 21% off. Plus, you can end up getting another 10% off with code The Lots Project. So that's a good stack. That's a decent price off. I think somebody said they got a Jade Plus bundle for under $120, which is a great deal. It was absolutely fantastic deal. What this would be great for would be Christmas presents for yourself. Get yourself one. Pick something up for yourself for Christmas if you need to get a hardware wallet and secure your Bitcoin holdings. Or a couple other things a Bitcoiner in your life could always use for an extra hardware wallet, even if they end up having one. I don't think having two would ever be an issue, and could always come up with something to do with them. Or a great thing to onboard someone getting into Bitcoin, maybe a kid, maybe a niece, nephew, child, neighbor, kid, or adult to be the same. Get them a hardware wallet. Teach them how to use it. put a little bit on it and show them how to send it, and then show them how to secure a new wallet on their hardware wallet, a new seed phrase, so you don't have any of that information. Or if it's your kid, you can hold on to it till they're 18 and then give it to them then. But tell them what it is, show them how to use it, get them in the habit of depositing on a frequency, dollar cost averaging. What a great idea, or a great way to get your kid interested in saving long term in a hard asset that's going to be appreciating, instead of getting them to put their fiat dollars in the bank where they're just losing money every month. So head on over to blockstream.com. I believe it's store.blockstream.com. I'll have the link in the video description and the audio description. If you click on the link down there, it'll automatically apply my code at checkout. Otherwise, you can enter code the Lots Project, and you'll get an extra 10% off. And double down and use your Fold card to buy a gift card. And we were talking about it in the group this week. I wish they had more denominations of gift cards for Blockstream in the Fold card, or in the Fold lineup that you can buy. I think they only offer a $150 gift card. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Thanks for popping in. I think they only offer a $150 gift card, which is, it's a little too much when you get 10% off with my discount code. But when you're getting 21% off, 10% off, it's a little too much. So maybe you're doing some shopping, maybe you're buying multiple, but if you want to stack some sats, you can get 10% back on that gift card. So another $15 back in Bitcoin, which then you can use to send to the card. But unfortunately, they only have a $150 gift card. Maybe a t-shirt. Maybe a t-shirt or something else along with it adds up to right around $150 with all the discounts. I don't know. You have to play around with it, but they only offer 150. But if you want to stack some Bitcoin back, you can use the Fold debit card. I use it all the time. I actually have noticed December is having boosted spin month on Fold, which basically every day you get a spin if you're a Fold Plus member, and you earn rewards, 10 sats, 5 sats, up to a million sats or a whole Bitcoin. And they boosted the amounts for December. And then I also noticed yesterday when I bought or 2 days ago, this weekend sometime, I bought a gift card for Lowe's with my Fold debit card, and bought a $200 gift card and got 20 spins, 20 bonus spins, which hasn't been the case for a while. You didn't really earn spins much. They were kind of going through some growing pains with what they could offer, when they could offer. A lot of these cards and reward systems, bless you, Corey, a lot of these reward systems, they start out strong and try to motivate people to sign up, and an initial boost there, and then they're not able to keep, it's not sustainable. So they have to change their program. And I remember when people got really upset with Fold when they dropped their rewards. They didn't drop them completely, but they significantly lowered the payouts of the sats back and the bonus spins and all of that. Well, I think it's just to stay above ground, and I think they do a great job. I've earned quite a bit of Bitcoin just for using that method of payment instead of my regular bank debit card. So one easy transfer, or get your stuff direct deposited to the Fold card, and away you go. You're earning Bitcoin with every purchase, or the best way is through buying gift cards and using it that way. So check it out, Fold, if you're not already. Let's get into it about the framing. So we got back from New York. If you remember, I talked about last week. Yeah, it would have been last week that we got our lumber in right before we left for New York. And Corey helped me stack it in the shed under cover. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. How's it going? Congratulations. You won the Bitcoin contest. You won. That's what you won, though. Congratulations. So Corey helped me get all the lumber all the 2x6s we'll be using for framing, some 2x4s that we're going to be using for some other parts of the interior framing, and windows and doors. We got super lucky. You hear, I don't know if it's luck, man. I don't know if you can call it luck, but anyway, we got windows and doors. We got them put away, and then we headed to New York. We got back. It was a really it was kind of a gloomy week for me. I'm not gonna lie. The weather was crappy. The sun wasn't coming out, and dealing with my dad's stuff. I wasn't. I don't want to say like I wasn't devastated. I talked about last week. It was kind of expected. Not quite this soon, but we all knew. We knew the writing was on the wall. But when it happens, it happens. And so I thought I was prepared. I had kind of gone through the motions every time we left over the last 5 years or so. Kind of made my peace with that. It's just gonna happen. But it affects you more than and over the last week I've been kind of down and contemplating and thinking more, and it just the motions you go through when you lose somebody, especially a parent. And the weather didn't help. The weather didn't help. It was gloomy. Didn't Sun didn't really come out. It was rainy, so I didn't really get out to the property a whole lot over the week. I got caught up on some stuff from when I was gone. Kind of went through the motions doing a lot of stuff, and so it didn't make a lot of progress. And Corey and I had talked, and we were going to go out on the weekend. She didn't have anything to do for the weekend, and so we were going to go out both Saturday and Sunday and get started. And so that's what I kind of planned on. And so not a whole lot of progress during the week. Hopefully this week is a little bit more. But Saturday morning, we got up, we headed out, and have to walk in still. The road still isn't fixed, and that's going on. I think that's it's been 7 weeks now. 7 weeks since they started tearing up the road, and every time it rains, it's impassable with a vehicle for days. I might be able to get in later this week with a truck, but it's just slippery. So much clay, it's like snot, and with the big hills, you just can't get enough momentum to get up the hills. And I can't afford to be stuck, so I can't drive back there. I can't chance it. I might be able to get back and not, but better safe than sorry when we only have one vehicle and really just can't get stuck. So Corey and I walk back on Saturday morning. We kind of we had multiple things to do. We had to get some firewood. Haven't been able to get back in there with the truck to load up on firewood, so we made a plan for that. We were gonna haul that out by hand. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But got some firewood cut up. Got a bunch cut up to bring back to the camper. Cut it into right now I'm working on this big huge deadfall that's been up in our cabin spot for, man, I think the tree was dead when I started clearing. It's probably a good 18 to 24 inches diameter, and it's just been drying, hanging in the air. And so I started cutting slices off it to bring back slices that are the right thickness for me to split up and use in our cubic mini. So that makes it a little easier. So I sliced up a bunch of that, and then we got to work on the cabin. It was a lot of planning the first day. Planning that really I had been going through it in my head over and over and over and over. And then when we went to start and I wanted to go through it again, I really hadn't thought about a bunch of things. Weird. You go through the motions in your head, and then when you go to start it, it's like, oh wait, I didn't think about this. So started thinking about it, walk through with Corey, talked about it, kind of figured out a plan. We're gonna frame out the square. So we have actually three types of walls that will be four types of walls we'll be framing out. None of our framing that we're doing is load bearing, so that makes it a little bit easier. But we have rectangular pockets that'll have a window in them. We'll have rectangular pockets that will have a door in them, and by pockets I mean the spaces in between the pole barn posts. We're framing out in between them and then attaching them to the posts and the ground and somewhere in the top. But a rectangular pocket that'll have window, rectangular pocket that'll have a door. Some rectangular pockets have no windows or doors, not very many. I talked about it before. Corey has a lot of windows going in the building. And then on the ends, we have to deal with the end rafters. So basically, the two long sides, the top is flat, straight, and then on the end we have the gabled ends that we have to figure out how to frame up in to hold our wall covering, to secure in the windows, because there's on each end there's two cavities. One has two windows, one has one window. I think it's mirrored on both ends. And so we're trying to figure out what the easiest to get started was. And so we're looking around. And I was like, okay, well, obviously just rectangular with no windows, just straight framed out studs, vertical studs would work great. So we ended up starting on one wall, kind of behind where our wood stove is going to be. That is exactly that. It's a rectangular wall, no window framing, no door framing, and so we got going on that. Actually, we started on one with a window, and I quickly realized I hadn't double checked. I was about 98% sure what the rough opening for our windows was. 98, 99, more like 99% sure. But I wasn't absolutely sure. And we don't have internet service out there that I could check real quick. And so I was like, okay, well, we're not going to get all of this done. We can start pre building these walls, and Sunday when we come back, we'll be able to have the right measurements for the rough openings, because I really didn't want to frame out rough openings and then have them all be wrong and have to go back and try to rectify that mess. So we started the one rectangular wall with the window. We didn't frame out the window, just kind of everything except the window area. The next one over didn't have any windows, so we were able to frame that out and get that installed and attach it to the posts and the floor, and got it up, and it looks great. It's going to work. I think the whole plan is going to work with that one in, as long as they can get them built out. Moved on to the next section, and this one was kind of messed up because we want the window as far over towards the post as we can get it. And we ran into issues on how to attach it to the post, where we want the window being right there, where we want it'll end up being double studded. And I didn't have screws long enough. Talked to Corey, we went back and forth, and we were just going to go to Lowe's and grab some bigger screws. So after we got one section complete and up, we had one partial section waiting on window measurements, and then we needed some screws to continue. So we kind of packed up. We headed to Lowe's. We got some screws. We came home and spent the evening together. And then we hopped back out on Sunday morning. I looked up the rough opening for the windows. They're all the same. Obviously, she picked the same size windows. And so as I was standing there looking at it, I realized that the odd shaped ends, the gabled ends, with the rafter running the way it does, I had a limiting. The limit was how high I could put the window on the wall. Because there was the way the rafter goes across and it's kind of angled, and where we have our floor, we weren't going to be able depending on how I framed it out, we weren't going to be able to put the window as high as the other walls. And so Corey and I went back and forth and tried to figure out if we wanted the windows on the two end walls to sit lower, and then all the windows on the other walls to be the same. Visually, I think looking at it, it was going to be close enough that you might be able to notice, but it really wouldn't be a big deal. They wouldn't have been on the same walls and in line with each other. We went back and forth a couple times and decided that I want to try to get them as high as possible, and I wanted to try to get all the windows the same height off the deck, off the floor, I guess, deck, whatever. And so I told Corey, I said, we really need to probably mess around with one of these odd shaped ends to get that level, to figure out where we can put the window, where you want them located on the wall, how high we can get them on the wall. And so I dug into that. Saturday, I also set up Corey burn barrel. We had the barrel for quite a while and just needed to drill some holes in it for some drainage and some airflow. And so I had set that up, and I was like, hey, why don't you go burn a bunch of shit? We had a bunch of cardboard and sticks and all sorts of shit to kind of do that. And I'll go in and kind of think about this, and we'll figure it out. I didn't get very far. Spent the whole day kind of going back and forth, trying to figure out how to break this section down into smaller pieces, where to kind of put the studs, where to put the headers, and really how to frame the whole thing out. Went back a bunch of different ways and started cutting boards, and it didn't really line up. Kind of lined up, didn't really line up, and so finally I had her come in, help me measure again. I wrote it out on paper, I drew it out, and I think I came up with a good plan. I messed around for a while longer, and it just been a long day, and kind of left it at that. I have a plan going forward. Hopefully I can get out this week and kind of get it all laid out, get it framed together on the ground. Moving these walls is they're heavy, using 2x6s, and a lot of them, they're heavy, and these ones are a lot bigger than the ones that we were working on. So I don't know if I'm going to want to try to lift that and put it into place by myself, but I definitely can. I definitely can get it framed out on the ground and get it put together, hopefully. And then when I have Corey's help next weekend, we'll be able to flip it up, install it, and then the other 3 gable end holes will be just mirroring that again. So, it's figuring out the first one always. So that's slow progress, but we did get going, and I do have a plan moving forward now. So that's good. So what, I got one pocket installed, one prep, one kind of started, one prepped, and one I'm working on in 2 days. So really wasn't super excited about the progress, but it's something, at least something. Had other bigger things to deal with actually while we were out both days in the weekend. The weather has turned quite cold here. I don't want to say quite cold. I'm looking at 2 people. Rewilder Life says her car started, which is fantastic. 2 people in the group this morning were talking about cars not starting. Canadian Farmstead and Rewilder Life, both dealing with some cold temperatures. I think Rewilder Life said she was sitting at -1 Fahrenheit, and Canadian Farmstead using negative 19 Celsius down in Freedom Units. That's like -1 or -2 also. Rewilder Life says slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, I mean, it was painfully slow yesterday as I was trying to figure this all out in my head. Been a long time since I've done some framing, and this is goofy on top of, this isn't like normal straight out framing that you would have ever done before. This is like there's a space, there's a hole that you have to frame out, and it's oblong, and you have to attach it weird. So good luck. I'm sure a professional framer would have been up there and it had just been done immediately, but that's not me. So figuring it out. Lots of kind of figuring it, and then double checking different things. So the other thing we had to worry about with the weather getting cool here and having to run the wood stove quite a bit. We've been running it daily, pretty much all day when we're here. Actually, it's not on this morning, which is kind of cool. But we've been running through firewood. We've been running through the firewood, and so we needed more. We're down to probably, I think, like 2 or 3 days worth in the truck. And so I told Corey, I know we can't drive back and load the truck up, but with the two of us, Pip says 64 and rainy down there in Florida. Lucky Pip. I said, with two of us, we could probably load the garden cart full of the rounds that I've been cutting and pull it out. Just drag it out to where we park the truck. It's about a half a mile. And if you've been out to the property or you've seen videos of the easement road, lots of hills, lots of uphills and downhills. And let me tell you, with the garden cart full of rounds, and I'm kind of guessing that it's about 100 pounds in the cart plus the cart weight is my guess. Going uphill and downhill are both ridiculous. It wants to run away from you downhill, or if you have it behind you, it's trying to push you, and then pulling it uphill obviously is just it's a chore. So we plan on that. So it really kind of cut the day shorter, because half a mile walk with this thing, and then add in the slippery clay that you're trying to climb up the hill and slipping every step you take and trying to keep enough traction to pull it up. But we had to get it done because we needed wood to heat the camper, and I really didn't want to buy anymore since I had found this perfect source of good dry firewood that's been burning fantastic. And so Saturday we loaded up the cart with 6 rounds. It filled the whole cart, and we made it. We were both, it was like 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and we were both soaked, sweating so much. It was definitely a task. We made it out, heavy breathing and sweating and everything. In the end, we made it. Threw them in the truck, got home, and then again on Sunday after we got done, we did the same thing again. And so I think we got 12 rounds, and I think we were averaging like 1 to 2 a day. So we got a week's worth, depending on how the weather plays. Like I said, right now we're not burning a fire, which every minute that we're not burning a fire extends that time. But we know where to get it, and hopefully we either get rock on the road or get a nice enough dry spell that I can go back and just load as much as I can into the truck. Good morning, Hunter. Your wife says hello. Hunter's wife says hello, but Hunter doesn't say hello. Good morning, Hunter and Hunter's wife. I miss you. So hauled that out again on Sunday. It was it is what it is, right? It's well-earned hill. This is well-earned heat, I guess. We didn't pay for it with money. We definitely paid for it with moving it for sure. So got enough firewood, definitely to get through the week. If I got to pull more out by myself, I'm going to tell 100% Corey pushing the cart was the lifesaver up the hills. She was like, I don't know how much I'm helping, and it was night and day difference. So thanks to my beautiful wife for helping, and I'm not looking forward to having to do it by myself. And so hopefully hopefully we run through the week and we have plenty to get to next weekend. And next weekend we can go out and do a repeat, maybe a little bit more productive with the framing and how much we're getting done. But pull some firewood out too. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that's that was the framing update. Excited to get it done. Excited to get it started. Not thrilled with the progress, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It's been cold here, colder than I want. I see the people in the group, the northern folks, Michigan, Canada, all those places talking about their weather, and that's the reason we left Minnesota was the cold. Tennessee. So we've been here. I believe this is going to be our third winter here because we got here in the spring when we first got here, and the last two winters, I feel like it's gotten colder later. I want to say that it didn't get this crappy in December. I think it was more into the end of December into January, and it was January, February were kind of the two cold, rainy, gloomy months, and then we started coming out of it. We still had rain and stuff going into March and April, but the temperatures came up. That's what I recall. It's cold already here, and after a winter in Texas, that first winter we were gone, and coming up here and enjoying the milder winters, it troubles me that it's this cold already. It's just enough. It's cold enough to make it a pain in the ass. It's going below freezing overnight, and then back up in anywhere in the 30s into the 40s, and that's been for a couple weeks straight now. The sun has barely come out. Every day is just gloomy, drizzly, rainy. If it rains a ton, and then the sun's never out to dry anything up. So that's one of the things we're dealing with on the road, and with walking into the cabin. We have places to be in and be dry at the property, but it's the walking the half a mile in and half a mile out in the rain on the slippery clay. It just makes things. All I want is the fucking road to be fixed. And I could drive back and drive up to where we're at, and yeah, just no update on when we're gonna get rock laid. So fingers crossed it happens this week. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Just kind of rolling with it. I'm trying to be better about that. There's nothing I can do about other than go find somebody to haul in rock and lay rock down and pay more money that I've already paid to have it done. So it is what it is. But the weather, besides being cold and gloomy and making traversing into the cabin and out a pain in the ass and getting firewood and all of that, it's been depressing. It really has. And on top of the stuff with my dad, and yeah, it's been a rough week. I don't know if I need to just super dose myself with vitamin D, if I need to get one of the sun lamps or what, but it's been rough. And the weather definitely has not helped my mental state at all over the last week or so. So hopefully the sun will come out. I was checking the forecast. I see cloudy every time there pops up a little bit of a little sun where it's supposed to be partly sunny. By the time that day comes, it's completely cloudy and the sun never comes out and the forecast changes. Today it's supposed to be partly sunny. Tomorrow it's supposed to be partly sunny. Wednesday partly sunny. Oh, all week is supposed to be partly sunny. We'll see. I think if the sun comes out for like 10 minutes and I happen to be outside, I'll be ecstatic. So we'll see with that. Do you guys get the gloomies? Do you guys get fucked up and depressed and kind of when the sun doesn't shine. When the sun doesn't shine. So we'll see. We'll see. I expect this in January, February. I thought December was a little early. But anyway, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. What else this week? Corey and I watched some Netflix over when we would get home, like Friday, Saturday night. We were watching some docu-series. We're kind of really diving into all the docu-series, the 4 episodes, 3 episode little mini series that they have on there. And 2, and we actually watched a few this weekend, but 2 that stuck out, and then 1 everybody's kind of talking about. We watched Pepsi Where's My Jet, and then Kings of Tupelo, and we also watched the Diddy, the Puff Daddy Sean Combs documentary, and that was interesting. I don't know if I'll talk about that one today. We'll see. But Pepsi Where's My Jet? I don't know if anybody's seen this. I thought it was good. I thought it was well done. The story is interesting. Being a kid that grew up in the 90s, it was very relevant. And somebody whose household drank a lot of Pepsi, it was also relevant. So Real Other Life says they watched American Made. What was American Made? Is that like an industrial story or something? So Pepsi Where's My Jet? Back in the 90s, Pepsi ran a promotion. Pepsi Points. I don't know if you may remember it if you're old like me and you were around in the 90s. I think it was everywhere. It was just kind of the same light as Camel Cash and Marlboro Miles and all of the rewards programs that the companies did to get you to buy their products. So in the middle of the cola wars, the Coke versus Pepsi came out with Pepsi Points. And basically you got points for every bottle you bought. And I think I think they mentioned in the show that it equated out to, you got basically 10 Pepsi points for a case of cans of soda, I believe was what it worked out to be. Well, to launch the program, they made a commercial, and it showed this kid. He was getting ready in his bedroom. He was getting ready to go to school. He put on some sunglasses, and it did like the whole Mission Impossible theme, because that was popular there, where the typeset comes across the bottom, and he put the sunglasses on, and it was like sunglasses 100 Pepsi points. And then he puts a leather jacket on, and it was like leather jacket 250 Pepsi points. And he's like walking out of the house, and it's showing all the things that this kid was getting all swagged out with, his Pepsi gear. And at the end of the commercial, he shows up to school in a Harrier jet. And if you don't know what a Harrier jet is, it's the one that like can levitate like a helicopter. It can take a vertical, it can take off vertical, land vertical, and kind of hover and maneuver like helicopter, but it's also a fighter jet. And so he lands in that, and the last part of the commercial says Harrier jet, 7 million Pepsi points. And that was it. And so this kid sees the commercial, and he's like, I want the fucking jet. He's like, there was no terms or conditions. There was no fine print. And I was like, well, maybe this was before fine print. Maybe this was before everybody got Sue happy and all this. But they were showing other examples of different commercials that all had fine print at the bottom, like an offer and then fine print. We all know about the fine print. I think it was 7 million points, Pip. 7 million Pepsi points originally. And so this kid sees it and he's like, there's no fine print. And he says, I taped it and I rewound it and I watched it again. I watched it again. I watched it again. And it legitimately said, you can have a jet for 7 million Pepsi points. And so the kid gets obsessed with it. And so he starts figuring out how to get 7 million Pepsi points and how much it would cost and how much a Harrier jet costs. And he like went through the whole deal. He figured out how many cases of Pepsi he was going to have to buy, how much it was going to cost, how he was going to store it, how he was going to move it. He put in labor for processing the points, like cutting them out and packaging them, all the things. This kid's like, I think he was like 19 or 20 years old. And so he comes up with a number, and it was something. I want to say it was $4 million. Pip. I think it was 7 million points, and it was going to cost him like $4 million in to buy it. I can't remember the number, but it was well below the $38 million that 38 million 38 million that it was going to cost for the Harrier jet at the time. And so he calls his buddy who is an investor, and he's like, hey, here's the deal. We can get the points to buy this jet. We can get the points to buy this jet. And then it's a great deal. We can raise the money. You have the money. You can invest in me, and then we can figure it out. And the guy's like, well, what do you want with the jet? Are we just going to sell it? And he came up with a business plan for actually bringing income from the jet, going to air shows, doing being a prop in movies, doing public appearances, and all this shit. And so this kid like laid it out. He's like, okay, here's how much it costs. Here's how much we need to get started. This is what we can make. Like, it was a viable business plan. And the guy's like, okay, well, is it legal to own one of these things? The kid like ended up calling the Pentagon. He got a Pentagon spokesman to say, if it doesn't have the bombs on it, if it doesn't have the missiles on it, if it doesn't have some of the radar jamming technology that the military uses, yeah, I mean, it's just a plane at that point. And the kid's like, all right, let's rock and roll. And so the plan started to go forward, and the kid says to the guy, he's like, all right, here, we can own one, blah, 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 this and that. And the guy asks him, and he says, what happens if we're doing this and we don't get enough points before the contest ends? Or somebody else gets the points and they get a jet and there was only one jet available? Or what if? And the kid couldn't come up with the answers. And so they like kind of started to trash the plan. And a little while later, he was at a store and they had the display for the Pepsi points catalog, where they had all the shit in there except a jet. They didn't have a jet in there. And the kid looks in the thing and he's reading through the book, and it said at the end is like, if you don't have enough Pepsi points to buy the item you want, you can purchase them for 10 cents a piece. And he's like, holy shit. So basically it came down to $700,000. You just send in one Pepsi point and cut a check for the rest. And he's like, well, this is a done deal. This is a done deal. So the guy agrees to give him 700 grand, and they mail it to Pepsi, and Pepsi's like, what the fuck? It was a joke. It was like they're interviewing all the executives, all the ad people and everything from Pepsi. And they're like, it was a joke. We never thought anybody would ever take it serious. And this kid's like, well, you fucking offered a plane for 7 million points, and here's the 7 million points. Pepsi wrote him back and sent him a coupon for 2 cases of Pepsi and said, hey, sorry, it was a joke. You ain't gonna get your plane. So the story goes on. They end up going to court. They offered him a settlement. He refused. He wanted the jet. If you want to watch it, I'm not going to spoiler alert. Um, Hunter says so. He's the one that messed it up. Messed what up? Uh, it goes on, and if you want to watch it, you can end up seeing what happens in the end. If you don't have Netflix and you're really curious about what ended up happening, you're welcome to send me a message over on the Telegram chat or anywhere. Hunter says now we have 4 pages front and back or fine print. I don't know if this was what caused that, but Pepsi would have saved their ass if they had any fine print. So if you want to check this one out, it was Pepsi, Where's My Jet? It does go on longer than that, and it's a little bit more involved story, and it's a good story. I enjoyed watching it. Corey and I both kind of said to each other, I wish there was more stories like this on here. It was a good one and well done, well made, and stuff like that. So the other one we watched that you probably have heard of is Kings of Tupelo. This was a messed up story. I'll just kind of let you know the basis of it. Not real in depth, but Elvis impersonators, body parts, murders, attempted murders. I think there was a Wayne Newton impersonator. Actually, sorry, they're not Elvis impersonators. They're Elvis tribute artists, I believe, is what they prefer to be called. But yeah, Tupelo, obviously, where the king was born, Elvis was born in Tupelo. This all took place in Tupelo, where there is a high concentration of Elvis tribute artists. So this one guy, he was a tribute artist. He ended up. So how it all started out, and I think I can tell that part of the story without being really a spoiler alert. This guy was a tribute artist. He got married. He had a kid. He was doing gigs. He was actually they said he was one of the better ones around, and he was young. He his wife needed money. He ended up starting a cleaning company and got a contract for a hospital. At some point, he was cleaning the morgue at the hospital, and he opened a cabinet, and he said he found body parts labeled, a head cutting off, a head in a bag. There were arms and legs and all sorts of shit in this cabinet. And he kind of freaked out about it, and it sent him down a spiral into conspiracy land. And he bought a computer. Sounds like he got hooked on a bunch of conspiracy sites so this would have been late 90s, early 2000s, I believe, where the net was flourishing and highly unregulated, and he got sucked in. And he got hooked on a conspiracy theory about a network of body part dealers, and got obsessed, very obsessed with it. Went down a long, crazy path. I mean, you tie in the Elvis impersonators and all the stuff with it. The story is pretty incredible. It's out there for sure. But true. I mean, you can look it up. It's a true story. It involves U.S. senators. It involves state representatives in Mississippi. It involves the president. It involves attempted murder, poisoning, and oh man, it was a wild story. You're gonna have to check it out. You're gonna have to check this one out. This one had so many twists and turns and like holy shit, are you serious moments. I really couldn't even do it justice talking about it. But definitely check out the Kings of Tupelo on Netflix. And if you don't have Netflix, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if it's available. It might be available online somewhere. It was good. It was good. So yeah, Pepsi, Where's My Jet? Rewilder's Life says, I missed that internet. You can still find it. You definitely can still find it. He mentioned more than one time dark web, and I was like, oh geez, the dark web. But Pepsi, Where's My Jet, Kings of Tupelo, a couple of good ones on Netflix, and of course the best one on Netflix right now is the Diddy, the P Diddy, the Puff Daddy, the Sean Combs documentary about that piece of shit. Uh, and I don't know. So it it appears, no, it's not appears, it's a fact, that 50 Cent 50 Cent produced it was one of the producers of this movie. And 50 Cent and Sean Combs are not buddies. Let's just put it that way. And I think it obviously any documentary, any news story is biased. It's going to be slanted in favor of one way or the other. Mr. Jackson, 50 Cent, he definitely doesn't like Sean Combs. It was definitely slanted to show the worst, the bad side of him. I don't know if there's a good side to him, but it basically told the story um, from when he was a kid all the way through present, and had interviews with his childhood friends and business partners and people he's fucked over, and told the stories of Tupac and Biggie Smalls getting shot, Tupac getting shot, and the rise and fall of Sean Combs and all the different fucked up shit that's happened along the way. It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Most of it I knew of the events. A lot of it didn't know how he tied into those. They lay out a very good story. They lay out a very good case with corroborating witnesses or corroboration in stories or times and places. Is it true? Were they lying? I don't know. It sounded messed up. It really sounded messed up, and it kind of went in line with everything that came out during his trial and things like that. But after you watch it, if you think that the guy is anything other than a complete psychopath scumbag, uh, you can show me how. You can lay it out for me, because I thought the guy was a piece of shit before. After watching this, yeah, I mean, they literally show video of him kicking and dragging one of his girlfriends. I don't think it was his wife. Pretty sure she was his girlfriend, through a hotel hallway, and amongst other things that were just like, that's the only one I needed to see to know the guy's a piece of trash. When you beat and kick a woman and then drag her through a hallway in a hotel back to the room to obviously beat the shit out of her some more. That's all I needed to see, let alone all the other shady shit that the guy took part in over the years. So check that out. I can't even remember what the name of that one was. Um, Pretty easy to find. Pretty easy to find. Interesting story. I think that they tried to maybe reason why he is the way he is, and from somebody that despises him, to take that angle, it was interesting. But yeah, the Diddy documentary over on Netflix, definitely worth the time to sit down and watch if you're interested in that story. So um other than that, I don't know. We're up at 7 o'clock here. We're looking at about an hour. I think I'm gonna wrap up. I got a bunch of stuff I'm gonna do today. Maybe try to get out to the property and get a little bit more work done on that goofy gable end framing, and get that figured out so I can have some more of that prep when I have my helper back to help me lift those walls up and get them secured in between the posts. Excuse me. Other than that, guys, if you want to take part in that Bitcoin price guessing game, you can head over to t.me/lotschat. That's t.me/lotschat and join the group. It'll be a pinned message. You can pick every week. I'm trying to figure out. I got a jade, so I found a jade that I could probably give away. It's sealed in the box still. It was sent out as a promotion that ended up not happening. So I got to come up with a contest to give away a jade. So anybody got any ideas? Pip, later, have a good one, man. Anybody have any ideas on how to give a jade away or how I should do that? Maybe a year-end Bitcoin guess contest. I don't know. I'll think about it. If you got any ideas, feel free to join the Telegram group and let me know what you think a good idea for a jade giveaway would be. Other than that, check out the website, check out the blog post, or be sure to hit my Amazon link if you're shopping on Amazon for the Christmas season. I appreciate that. All the sales I'll end up with a little commission and helps support what we're doing here. And beyond that, hope you have an awesome week. Hope you get everything done that you want to. Hope your sun comes out, and I hope my sun comes out too for more than a couple minutes. Hoping to get some rays and some vitamin D in at some point this week. Like I said, I'm leaving my guess for the Bitcoin guessing game at 97,979. You can put your guess in over in the Telegram group. Have a fantastic week, guys. Get everything done you want, and we will catch up to you next Monday.